Carl Jung. Carl Jung's analytical theory. He gave us three. He was a disciple of Freud, Sigmund Freud, and he used dream analysis. The three ways to analyze human personality, according to him, he gave was structure of personality, dynamics of personality, and movement of psychic energy or development. These three stages he has given in his analytical theory. Okay. Let's see the first one, structure of personality. Now under first one he has given the first as consciousness. He said the feeling and thinking etc. is at the consciousness level, and he said ego is center of it. So consciousness and ego he has spoken about. Consciousness he said feeling and thinking, and ego he said is the center of the conscious activity. Then the unconscious he has spoken about. His major contribution is the one that is in star, that is the collective unconscious. It's a major part of his study. In unconscious, he said that the ego is not aware of the unconscious. Under unconscious, he is divided into personal unconscious and collective unconscious. The personal unconscious, he said, is complex and is all contents are dumped here. So he said all the contents are dumped in this personal unconscious. Collective unconscious, he said, like for example God, nature, worship, symbols. Now symbols for example developed in different parts of the country. The same symbols developed without people going there. No travel mode was available, but still it developed simultaneously in different areas. Geographically they were different. So he said that was the result of collective unconscious. He said that if one rat learns one new way of avoiding death, that will be learned by all of the rats all around the world. So that is like a collective unconsciousness. That is a major contribution of Carl Jung. And the third which he said in this was under the structure of personality. The third one which he spoke about was archetypes. 4 archetypes which is present in all. Archetypes is like mukhauta, like what you put a mask. So the archetype 4 which are present in all, he said. Persona, he said Greek word of mask. He said everybody puts a persona, tries to be like a mother, a sister, a wife. The same woman is doing different roles and accordingly she is wearing that mask. Then he said that everybody has anima and animus. Like for example Ardhanarishwar, the Shiva, half woman and half female pictures which we see in books. So that's anima and animus, where half is a male, half is a female. That means every male has a female element in him and every female has a male element in him. So both should develop, and otherwise it will be lopsided personality according to Carl Jung. Then the shadow, that is the id, said that id should be channelized and it can be made to positive. Sigmund Freud always said that it is negative, whereas Carl Jung said, he had a different theory. He said it's like a shadow and it can be channelized to become positive. And also he spoke about the self, the S with the capital S. So he's talked about the self like the Atman, which we say in the Indian philosophy. So whole, oneness, that a person is growing but doesn't feel that it's disintegrated. What he was a child and now is different. He feels the same person. So that is the concept of self. So all these 4 is there in every human being. Then he talked about 2 attitudes and 4 functions of psyche. 2 attitudes and 4 functions of the psyche. The 2 attitudes are the 2 potential, that is extroversion and introversion. Either you are an extrovert or an introversion. Okay, in introversion what happens? The psychic energy flows inwards. Both can exist simultaneously, introversion and extroversion. Also there are 4 functions which is speaking about functions of psyche, that is sensing, feeling. Sensing is the pleasure or feeling miserable. Feeling is happiness and sorrow. Thinking and intuition. Okay. So 2 attitudes he has spoken about and 4 functions. And depending on this 2 attitudes and 4 functions, and multiply that and it's 2 into 4, that's equal to 8 psychological types. So 4 extroversion predominant and 4 introversion predominant. So when extroverts is predominant, then you have extrovert sensing type, extrovert feeling type, extrovert thinking type, and extrovert intuition type personality. And when you have the 4 introversion predominance, there you can have introversion sensing type, introversion feeling type, introversion thinking type, and introversion intuition type. Here that yoga student, there's an example. Here extroversion and also intuition, there it can be an inventor or a discoverer, that type of personality. So that was on structure of personality. That is the first one. And under the second one, there is dynamics. He gave 3 laws like that of a thermodynamics to explain psychic energy and its channelization. He spoke about 3 laws: law of opposite, law of equivalence, and law of entropy. Under law of opposite, he said that all energy has polarity: love, extreme love and extreme hate. So also psychic energy. So more gap should not be there. If there is more gap between love and hate, then you cannot come to an equilibrium. Okay, so law of opposites, you should try and bring it to in the midpoint as much as possible. Don't have too much of hatred and too much of attachment. Then he said that law of equivalence, one energy to another. He said if suppose a boy has failed in his love, the same energy he can take it to the sport level and be equivalent, and he can better even there. So 10 is equal to 10. 10 here is equal to 10 there. Okay. So it's same with the psychic energy. Energy, he said, cannot be destroyed. You can transform it, and you can be better in some other field. Then law of entropy. He said that nobody likes disorderliness. Everybody want to be balanced. That is a nature. So many to one thought, from material to spiritual, is our natural way of growing. So nobody likes disorderliness. Everybody likes to balance. So these are 3 laws: law of opposite, law of equivalence, and law of entropy. So we can channelize our energy accordingly. And the third which he said was the development, and he said movement of psychic energy is development is like a sun. He compared it to a sun. The libido, there is psychic sexual energy, he said this, it can be channelized and it need not be eliminated. Okay, it has to be channelized. So he gave this stages. The first stage he said was childhood, 0 to 12 or 14 years. He said it is like a rising sun, hot, potential, conscious. He said not manifested, not hot, it is just coming up. Okay, so not manifested. So he said that at this age there is anarchic, 0 to 4 is no logic, it is full of id. Then second stage under this 5 to 9 is monarchic stage, where little orderliness and little ego comes in. Then he speaks after 9, above 9 it's more dualistic, I and the other. And then he said these are the 3 stages in the childhood. Then the second stage he said was adulthood, that he compared to noon, mid sun. At that time he said that is puberty to 35. So after 9 onwards to 35, he said this is psychic rebirth. Maximum extroversion is there and fantasy is converted to reality in this stage. And there is a lot of physical and mental freedom in this age. So that is adulthood noon. The third he said was middle age, afternoon, 35 to 60. He said again a person becomes more introvert during these years, and say period of self-realization, questioning like why I am here, what is my goal, and am I doing the right thing, and what is God, and etc. This sets in the middle age. He said then the old age, that is the evening, individuation he calls it. Okay, so the goal here, the goal is of the mental health. There should be balance, extro of adult and intro of the middle age. Then only you go to individuation. Otherwise there is a fight in this age. If there is a balance of the adult intro and balance of the extra of adult and the intro of the middle age, then you go to this concept called individuation. Okay, individuation is where discrimination comes in very easily. You don't have to try too much to get into discrimination.